you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Living the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Living the Dream podcast. Today, we're going to kickstart your week with the right mindset to conquer your goals and to live your dream life. This one's going to stretch your brain just a little bit, and I think you're going to love it. Today, we're diving into something that doesn't get enough attention in the world of self-development. We're going to talk about how lifelong learning unlocks one of the most underrated superpowers that we all have, and that is intuition. Intuition. What is intuition, really? Let's kick this off by breaking down what intuition actually is. Most people think that intuition is just this magical gut feeling, and it can feel magical. But the truth is, intuition is simply subconscious wisdom. It's your brain pulling from this massive archive of information, experience, pattern recognition, and context that you didn't even realize you were absorbing. We are all walking, breathing, sensing machines, constantly collecting data through our 5 senses. Yes, but also through things like body language, tone of voice, rhythm, even energy in a room. A lot of this never even reaches our conscious awareness, but it's in there. It's like your subconscious is a library, and your intuition is the librarian. The better stocked your shelves are, the more helpful that your librarian can be when you need to make a quick decision or see a situation clearly. Have you ever had that experience where you meet someone new and they seem nice, but something just feels a little off? You can't put your finger on it. Then weeks later, something happens and you're like, oh, I knew it. That wasn't a coincidence. That was your subconscious detecting subtle clues. It detected subtle clues that your conscious brain had naturally just filtered out. Little subtle clues like changes in microexpressions or tone or changes in posture. That is your intuition talking. What happens when we stop learning? Let's flip it. What happens if you stop learning? If you don't expose yourself to new ideas or perspectives or challenges, your intuition gets dulled. Your inner voice becomes less informed, less helpful. Instead of being that Jedi level guide, it becomes a parrot, repeating old fears, repeating outdated beliefs, repeating unchecked biases. And this is where people get stuck. They make the same mistakes in relationships. They stay in jobs that drain them. They fall for the same diets and fads and fitness gimmicks year after year after year. And it's not because we're lazy or dumb. It's because we're operating on an outdated programming. You need to upgrade your intuition. To upgrade your intuition, you've got to upgrade the code, and that comes from learning. Intuition is a pattern recognition. There's a reason why pro athletes, why firefighters, why ER doctors, and military special ops can make life or death decisions in seconds. It's not magic. It's experience and exposure. Their brains have cataloged thousands of scenarios. They've cataloged outcomes and sensory inputs. And when they're in the moment, their intuition pulls from that massive database that they've earned, that they've gotten through wisdom. And their intuition pulls from that database to guide them into a decision. And that comes in a split second. Dr. Gary Klein, he is a cognitive psychologist. He studied firefighters who knew exactly when to evacuate a burning building, not because they saw fire, but because something, quote unquote, just didn't feel right. It turned out that they had subconsciously noticed the fire was too quiet. There were no visible flames, and that signaled a backdraft risk. Their intuition, based on years and years of experience, saved their lives. Intuition isn't woo-woo. It's literal neuroscience. And here's the coolest thing about it. Intuition can be trained. How can we apply this to health, fitness, and wellness? Let's bring it back to the world that I love the most. Imagine you've been studying movement patterns for years. How your body feels when it's properly warmed up, when something just is kind of off, or when you're heading toward burnout. You start to sense injuries before they happen. Or maybe you've been learning about food quality or blood sugar regulation and metabolism. Now, when your energy crashes mid-afternoon or your sleep starts to tank, you just kind of know to look at what you ate earlier, or how are you not setting yourself up for better sleep? Your intuition becomes this internal GPS, guiding your workouts, guiding your meals, guiding your stress management and recovery, even guiding your social life. It becomes second nature to check in, to adjust, and to optimize. That's not luck. That's the result of consistent, curious, open-minded learning. The mind-blowing reality that we take in way more than we realize is just something that I can't wrap my head around. Here's a fun fact. Our brain takes in roughly 11 million bits of information per second. 11 million bits of information per second. But we can only consciously process about 50 bits. That means almost everything that we take in, 99% of things that we take in, is happening subconsciously. Think about that. Your eyes, your ears, your skin, your gut, all delivering data constantly, all the time. But only a fraction hits your conscious mind. Think about your clothes touching your skin right now. Think about your feet on the ground or your butt on whatever you're sitting on. You weren't even aware of that seconds ago until I just told you to think about it. Only a fraction of what we're taking in hits our conscious mind. So when people say, I had a gut feeling, it's likely a combination of pattern recognition, subtle sensory cues, for sure past learnings, and emotional memory firing all at once. The more you feed that system, the sharper it becomes. Action steps to sharpen your intuition. Let's talk about them. All right, let's make this practical. How can we start sharpening our intuition today? Number 1, read or listen to one new thing every day. Podcasts, audiobooks, articles, even short videos. YouTube has tons of content, period. But if you can filter through some of the junk, has tons of great stuff. Learning doesn't need to be a deep dive, but it does need to be consistent. Back in 2016, I did this thing where I made a New Year's resolution because, I was making New Year's resolutions back then. And I said I wanted to learn one new thing every single day. And I heard that in order for you to learn something better, you taught it. So what I did was I searched health podcast. I went onto a podcast app and I searched health. The first thing that came up was the Model Health Show with Sean Stevenson. And that kind of changed the directory of my life. Like I am so grateful that happened. I started listening to his podcast, and he was so good at teaching. And then I started listening to audiobooks, and I was like, all right, well, now I'm learning all this information, but I'm not really sure if I'm taking it in, if I'm learning it. So I started to write it down on a whiteboard at our group fitness studio. And I started to teach one fitness thing, one nutrition thing, and one lifestyle thing. And that was the beginning of, if you've ever listened to the year worth of mini episodes that I've done called mini-sodes, that was all the stuff that I started to put together for that. And I still to this day have continued to learn something new every single day about health, fitness, or wellness. And that's how this podcast is to be. Like, this is where it all goes, is I want to be able to teach the things that I learn, and I want to learn from the experts and the newest things that are coming out, because I was just really disappointed that, I mean, I loved Oregon State University. I loved almost everything about it, but some of the information I learned in some of those classes was trash. It was false. It was not real. They didn't teach us anything that we really needed to know in some of those classes. Some of them, I got some really great stuff. Sports Psychology 101 was amazing. A lot of my fitness programming classes were awesome, but like the nutrition classes were terrible. So going down that rabbit hole, I digress. Coming back, read or listen to one new thing each day. It could absolutely change your life, and in turn, change your community, change the people around you. Number 2 is to reflect weekly. Ask yourself, what did I learn this week? When did my gut speak up? Was it right? If you can start to connect to and reflect on how your gut was talking to you, how your intuition was talking to you, this builds self-awareness, just like any other muscle, just like any other skill. Reflect weekly. You can do this with a journal. You can do this in a voice app on your phone. You could do this talking with your significant other. Just try to reflect on, when did your gut say something, and was it right? Did you have this base assumption, this gut feeling, and it just didn't feel right, and that it ended up being the right decision, or was it wrong? Like, just reflect. And then that builds self-awareness. Number 3, challenge your assumptions. Seek out perspectives that differ from your own. Watch content from people that you disagree with. Learn something new in an unfamiliar field. You got to challenge your assumptions, because it's so easy for us to get stuck in these echo chambers of all the things that we believe. And the algorithm just keeps feeding us information that we believe, and from the people that we already know about. But you got to seek out perspectives from different people who have differing opinions and perspectives than your own. Especially in things when it comes to like things that you hold really closely, the beliefs that you hold so closely that like you would die for these beliefs. I think it's really important for you to learn the other side of the argument in order for you to better be able to argue your side. So challenge your own assumptions. Number 4, journal intuitive hits. So start noting down those gut feelings that you had, and then what happened next. So this is kind of like reflecting weekly, but instead of looking back, in the moment, when you notice those gut feelings that you had and what happened next, build your trust in your inner voice. And number 5, practice noticing. In conversations, in workouts, in life, just pause and observe. What are you picking up that's not being said? What are those tiny little pieces of sensory information that you're taking in that would normally just go right into your subconscious? Try to become more aware and practice noticing. So read or listen to one new thing each day, reflect back weekly, challenge your assumptions, journal intuitive hits, so writing down those gut feelings that you had and what happened after that, and then practice noticing the things that you might just go right into your subconscious. Practice noticing those and put them into your consciousness. The next step for us here is, if you're serious about becoming the healthiest, most resilient, and high-performing version of yourself, then make lifelong learning a daily habit. Feed your mind the way that you feed your body. And right now, you're listening to this, so you're right on the right track. Pick one thing this week: a podcast episode, a book, a TED Talk, maybe a conversation with someone that you might feel is wiser than you, and then digest it, reflect on it, apply one idea from it. That's how you grow. That's how you grow your intuitive wisdom, because your intuition is only as good as what it's built on. And if you want to live a long, vibrant, dream-chasing life, you've got to trust yourself. And that trust comes from building inner wisdom, one new idea at a time. So here's the real takeaway. Your intuition is not some mystical magic. It's your best self. The version of you that has learned, listened, and lived. And the more you learn, the more powerfully that voice shows up in your health, your habits, your relationships, and your longevity. Lifestyle learning isn't a hobby. It is a lifestyle. Lifelong learning is a lifestyle, and it might be the most secret weapon to living your own dream life. So now go learn something new today and listen to what your gut's been trying to tell you. And that's it, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this Mindset Monday episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Please share the knowledge that you gain with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. If this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who could benefit from what we talked about today. To support this podcast and to help it grow, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on and leave a review telling others how this podcast benefited you. Leave a comment on this episode letting us know how you're incorporating building your own subconscious and training your own intuition. This is a non-cost way to help get this important wellness content into more people's ears. Tag me at livingthedream_podcast or at coachdamian_SD and let us know how this episode benefited you. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what we got wrong. We want to know. Message us if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Living the Dream team that we can discuss in future episodes. I will be right here with you, working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.